Erin.
I'm Megan.
And this is the Utterly Unrelated Podcast. So today, we're going to take a deep dive on all things mermaids. I'm so excited. We're going to be dispelling a few things. We're going to be adding a few things to the trope. We're going to be talking a lot of shit. I'm going to be talking a lot of shit. I don't know about you. I'm going to talk mad shit because I feel really passionately about mermaids, and they've been
maligned throughout history.
They have been maligned, they have been misunderstood, and they have been co-opted for sex for humans. I'm really mad about it.
I'm more confused about it. Unless you're only just like into oral and hand stuff, they don't have lady parts, man. It's not like you just like pull a scale aside and there's a human vagina.
Oh, most men think there is.
There's not.
Yeah.
At best, there's a cloaca.
And you know what? I bet they don't know what the fuck that is.
Oh yeah, it's a pee pool.
Yeah.
The eggs come out of too.
Birds have it too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Eggs, pee, and poop. Yeah, no, and I think guys think of it like a... Yes, and I am making a sweeping statement. I think they think of it like a challenge. Like, oh, I'll find that vagina. I know it's there.
Were you going to stab a hole in it? Like,
I know, right?
You can just stab your way through? That's not how vaginas work, man. If that is how vaginas work, then anyone with a knife is never without a vagina.
That is true.
It's actually true because rape.
Yeah.
But other than rape, if there was no humans, you could just stab a hole in a wall and there's a vagina.
Yep. Some people do. They adhere to that principle of
really tall 8-year-olds.
It's so insane. It's crazy. So today we're going to talk about everything mermaids, and sadly, because this is not a visual medium, you're going to have to go to our Instagram to see everything I'm talking about. Or if you're a TikToker, like, for real, I'm going to give you the hookup on all the mermaid content that you need. And I'm not talking sexy girls who like slide on a fancy tail that's got rainbow sparkles on it. No, I'm talking scary fucking face of a demon, webbed fingered.
They look like they have been living at the bottom of the ocean for quite a fucking while. Like like translucent, like kind of opaque-ish, translucent, opalescent skin, but not in a good way.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like corpse skin, or like the blobfish. Blobfish skin.
Blobfish skin.
It
That's what
looks
you get.
like it would be tacky to the touch if it were dry.
Yeah, totally.
Otherwise, it looks like it would be just perpetually moist, but not in a good way. Like slimy moist, like a SCOBY. If you're like making kombucha, they have skin the texture of SCOBY.
Oh my god! And like, you think that you want to put your wiener in their sweet mouth? No, because it is filled with demon teeth.
Like anglerfish teeth.
Anglerfish teeth with like milky eyes because they don't see light that much. I have seen things that I can never unsee, and I feel like you need to see them too, people, because they don't haunt my dreams or anything, but I for sure...
I think about it sometimes, though.
Yeah, I think about it, and I'm like, oh, so yeah.
Doesn't haunt my dreams, but it plagues my waking life.
Oh my god. So speaking of which, I rewatched Crimson Peak last night.
Oh, cool.
So every once in a while I rewatch it just because, like, I love it. I love it so much. I love everything about it. And so if you've seen Crimson Peak, like, one of the crazy ghost skeletons, that's what a mermaid is. Except instead of covered in blood, it's covered in SCOBY.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's fucked up. But, okay,
like white SCOBY.
Yeah.
Not SCOBY colored. It would be better if it was SCOBY colored.
It would.
I don't know why. It just would.
It's not even
less haunting.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the corpse color. Like corpses after they come out of the fridge, but before they start to turn green.
It's definitely like a corpse that's been discovered in water.
Yeah. We're not gonna
bloated.
Yeah, a little bit. Just fucked up. Some have hair, some don't.
Oh, that's a whole thing too.
Now what I am gonna do, and I'm gonna bring it up and get it prepped, is I'm gonna show Megan the videos that I'm telling you to go watch.
Fuck yeah.
And we're gonna get a full on reaction. And I think what we might do is we might post it. We might post it on our Patreon. We're starting to put some really good content on our Patreon.
Post it on the Instagram today
in
anticipation for our upcoming episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's one girl, her name is Phoebe Daniels. She's out of Australia. She's my favorite fucking TikToker because she goes through and people send her these cryptid and these paranormal videos because she researches and she debunks them. Yeah, she's fucking amazing. She also addresses really important things like the mental health system in Australia, which apparently is like worse than I ever could have imagined.
Worse
and, like,
than ours?
Worse than ours, and run by people who don't believe in mental illness, which is really jarring and weird. She's fucking amazing. She looks like a model. She does amazing makeup. She's gorgeous. She's smart. And she's my fucking hero for right now. So we're going to have real-time reactions from Megan as I force her to watch things she can never unsee. And yes, I know it's not very professional to cite TikTok as a main source, but you know what?
There's no academic pages about...
There's not.
Yeah.
There's the history of mermaids in, like, literature and stuff, and we're going to talk that. But you know what? You want to get real? This is TikTok time. This is where TikTok
It's TikTok
shines.
time, bro.
It is. I've got to find the one I want to start with.
Oh, go up. Oh, wait, are all of these mermaids?
They're all of them. Yeah.
Holy shit.
She did like a year of her life on mermaids.
Whoa.
I love her so much. And the one...
That one looks like an axolotl.
Yeah, and sometimes she gets like, and people send her this footage, so she's not like actively seeking it, necessarily. But, like, what the fuck is that? That ain't no girl in a fucking tail.
No,
that is a fucked up...
It's got a shark tail.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is there doesn't seem to be any continuity when it comes to, like, what fish parts they got and what they didn't, which makes me think it is an ever-evolving creature. Come on, focus up. There we go.
So, like, there would be some sort of...
There would be some, like, I'm in the middle of evolving stuff, which is really cool. But, like, yeah, okay, here we go. This is my starting point. This is what I want to get lined up for.
Do you remember... God, maybe... 2010 or something, there was that thing about mermaids. Yeah?
We're going to talk about that.
Oh, dope.
Yeah,
okay.
We're going to talk about that. It is under, so Megan has cards. I have bullet points today. And that is under a bullet point that I called Mermaids, the Body Found, a.k.a. Fuck Your Couch.
Fuck your couch.
Yep.
Well, okay, so just like from an evolutionary standpoint, their bone structure kind of makes sense because, like, you know, whales have similar leg bones as us, even though they don't have legs. So, like, I could kind of see that. I don't know. I'm interested. Like, I don't know if this is just one of those overused, like, oversimplified, incorrect things that people say, but it is supposed to be that we know more about outer space than, like, the ocean.
It's true.
So,
yeah.
Especially if something like this thing seems like it would be a deep sea creature.
Yeah.
Just given, like, the pastiness of it. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities, I think.
I think so, too. And you know what? I go into this acknowledging that video technology that we have is very advanced. And yes, you could probably debunk more of these than I have debunked as being potentially fake videos, but enough of them exist in the same vein that I feel like really confident in knowing that the ones that I have identified as potentially real are real. Because some shit you just can't fake, in the sense that, like, okay, I am watching video footage from a camera that's focused on an underwater oil drilling machine in the Russian Sea, and something like whoop, 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 flips by it. How much? Okay, first of all, you're watching footage that's already really shitty. You know, like, it's a low caliber Russian camera that's recording in murky waters. To just drop, like, a fucking CGI mermaid in there, it's like they're not ever going to match up. Like, you can make it shitty. It's just the technology we have is too advanced for that. And I know that's a sweeping statement. I'm sure people who don't just flat out do not believe in mermaids are always going to find ways to say there's no fucking mermaids. And that's fine. But I know that there are mermaids. And it's sort of like believing in God. Like, you think there is a God that's going to send us all to hell. And that's cool, but I don't think that. You know what I mean? Like, we can differ, but we don't need to argue because I don't want to hear your opinion. And you don't really want to hear mine. All right, so let's dive into the history. What is a mermaid? Webster's Dictionary. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for not doing that.
You're welcome. So a mermaid is, it's technically classified as a mythical sea-dwelling creature as of right now, with the torso and head of a human and the lower trunk of a fish. That is not necessarily agreed upon in every single country. So many countries have their own mermaid legends. In Africa, at least in Western, Southern, and Central Africa, they often speak of Mamiwata, I think is how you pronounce it, meaning water as mother or mother of the waters. There is no singular characteristic to the identity of this particular creature, mermaid. The gender is fluid, can be male or female, which is sort of against all reason. It's like not a thing in America. Like there's not really any man mermaids that you hear talk of. Mermen, yeah, but like, you know, people are definitely more into like mermaids. So in Africa, it's more gender fluid. And so are the physical attributes. I saw there was one carving of this particular mermaid, Mamiwata, and she had legs. She didn't have a fish body all the time. And she had a snake around her neck, and that's she dope. Sort of, yeah. So I get the feeling she could walk in and out of water.
Like in Luca.
Totally. Now there's a whole theory about Luca. So we'll just take a hard left turn for now. You know how you don't want to create panic by saying aliens are a thing. And so slowly over time, you make movies and release them to the public of what aliens might look like. Like, oh, in Men in Black, they might be cute. Or in the X-Files, they might be scary and gray. And then eventually, when it's time to be like, yeah, here are videos of aliens, people are like, not going to be as jarred because they've been seeing it in the popular culture for a long time. So the theory is that Luca is another one of those, it's like The Little Mermaid and Aquamarine and Sirens and all these different TV shows and movies. Luca's just the latest, and sort of trying to acclimate us to what this water creature might look like. So when it is confirmed, people don't freak out. Mm-hmm. But it is interesting because Luca looks more like, physically, like the video I've seen of mermaids than Ariel or, you know, any of the other ones have. So it's sort of like they're sort of dipping their toe in, like...
The mermaids that I saw looked kind of like Luca's uncle, what was his, Uncle Donnie?
Yes. Yeah.
Like the clear skin, and you have to like punch him in the heart because his heart stops sometimes.
Totally. Like the really weird, not understood.
Kind of anglerfish.
Yeah, kind of weird looking. Well, and like this year, the CIA sort of was just like, yeah, aliens are a thing. And then just like moved on.
Okay, so I want to know more about that too, because like I heard that like under the Trump administration that he had given proof of aliens and then done something else wacky because it was a fucking Tuesday, and so that just got buried under him being a fucking wingnut.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, that's 100% true.
What did they say about, like, were they literally just like, yeah?
So they declassified a bunch of footage and documents that said that we have had unidentified flying aircraft that are more than likely intelligent creatures not of Earth since the 20s and 30s. And then they just sort of, whew, you know, like on to the next thing because Trump said something crazy. You're absolutely right. There was all these documents that were declassified this year. But by now, like, we're so used to the idea of aliens and like, oh, alien abductions and this and that we were just sort of like, okay, yeah, we knew that. You know, so it's sort of like quelling the panic that may have existed like in the 50s.
Yeah.
When everyone was like, oh my God, aliens and little green men and stuff. Yeah. So I'm sure in like 50 years, this will come up with mermaids too.
That's fucking scary.
And when they dust off whatever piece of technology, ancient technology they use to listen to this podcast in 50 years, they're like, she was right the whole time.
This Erin, she's real progressive.
She was real smart for her time. And then they'll look at a picture of me and it'll just be like, brr. But she also talked about Bigfoot way too much and ate too much cheese. Like, oh. So the spirits in Africa were worshipped for both their benevolence in offering beauty, healing, and wisdom, and as a way of warding off natural disasters. Sorry, the loose tooth also impedes my speech,
Oh.
which makes it really fucking hard to record my fucking audiobook, which will be out next week. November 27th, my new book comes out. We'll talk about that later.
I mean, if you didn't have your tooth, it would be November 27th.
November 27th. Yeah, oh my God, that would be horrible. Oh, please don't let the tooth fall out.
If it does, I hope that you develop a whistle.
I will.
I need it.
I will, because I have one anyway. I know. So great. There's so many lines last night that I had to go back and delete and re-record because my S's were too, like, just like, no, damn it.
Wonderful.
Dude, if you think that you're good at speaking, go sit in a booth in the dark of night alone and record things that you've written. You'll find out you're bad at writing and you're bad at speaking.
Now, see, I think it's less the recording and more the editing, because I think I'm fucking brilliant because I'm not the one who has to edit myself.
It's hard to edit yourself. But definitely last night there were moments. So my new book is a horror book, and there's a lot of like demons talking through the spirit box and stuff, and I had to like do the growly demon voice, and I was so freaked out being down here in the middle of the night by myself. It's because I'm in the basement. I'm in like the basement, and it's not a creepy basement. It's a really nice basement. It's my mom's basement apartment, but I was still down here alone in the dark booth that's full of like black curtains going and making little like demon-y noises, and I couldn't listen to him. I couldn't go back and listen and make sure I didn't like on top of them. I was like, nope, if I did, I did. We're moving right along because I can't do it.
So one of the demons might have a whistle lisp.
It might. And that
leave it in.
That would put a damper on its scariness, but
No.
I think it would make it more relatable for sure. Oh my God. I guess you'll have to just get the Audible book and find out.
Right. Does it have a whistle lisp? Who knows?
It might.
Hopefully.
I've made a sweeping decision. Several of my characters have accents, and I've decided not to do them because it'll be so offensive if I do a Chinese accent or a Russian accent. So I just make a point to say, he said in his Russian accent, because I'm not fucking doing it. It's bad enough I'm doing demon growls and like, like.
Yeah, but instead of accents, why don't you just do a different growl?
Yeah, totally.
This is my Irish growl.
And lucky
Here's my Cantonese growl.
Luckily, most of the people who have accents are alive, and they have very fleeting lines in the book, thank God. Because when I wrote them in my head, I was like, these are awesome. Never taking into consideration I might have to like deal with it later. So.
Do you know anyone who is good at accents?
No.
Yeah, me
no
neither.
one. I mean, not anybody that would like return my phone call.
I know a ton of people who think they're good at accents.
I was one of those people until I heard myself do an accent and I went, no. I can't even do like, I think the only accent I can do with any sort of confidence is the one no one wants to hear. And that would be the old-timey movie accent of like
the transatlantic?
Silver Screen. Yeah, the transatlantic one.
Now, I used to listen to this podcast where a lot of the stuff was kind of like set in like silver screen era and silver screen stuffs. And this person would always try to do a transatlantic accent, and it was the fucking absolute worst I've ever heard. It was like most anyone trying to do a Scottish accent. Like, it was that bad. And I think that just from living with people who were taking drama classes and thought that they were real fucking funny, I cannot do a shitty transatlantic accent. I could better suffer like Tom Hardy trying to bumble his way through a Chicago accent or something. It's really
rough.
bad. Yeah, it's super bad. It's like, are you doing Philadelphia? What are you doing? Where are you going with this?
Yeah. That movie, The Drop, where he's got the puppy, and he stars with James Gandolfini, and he tries to do like the Jersey accent.
Oh.
I love him so much, but honey, it's all right. You don't.
Him in Venom.
Okay.
I have no idea. Is he trying to do East Coast, Midwest, like Southern? Is it Maryland? Where the fuck is he from? What is he going for? Vaguely American?
What if he was trying to do the one where Baltimore, like the one that no one can do unless you're from Baltimore?
It sounds a little like an unsuccessful Baltimore accent, an unsuccessful Chicago accent, and an unsuccessful Philadelphia accent all had a baby. Not the tough guy Philadelphia accent, the mouthful of cheese whiz Philadelphia accent. You know what I'm talking about?
Do.
Yeah.
Totally
that sounds
do.
kind of Baltimore-esque also. It's like he's trying to do all of those. And they're all fighting in his mouth. And what comes out is vaguely human.
I bet that's what they hear when we try to do English accents.
Oh, yeah,
They're
absolutely.
Like, oh, is that Birmingham? Is it London? Is it South Central?
Right, but
whatever?
Yeah, because England is very fucking small.
Teeny
and
little
so
island.
you could very easily drive from like one side to the other and hear a bajillion different accents.
Which, why are they so little and they get to own everything? Not cool. Not cool, Queen.
Well,
But
she started early. It's
she
like
did
with
start
the MLMs, you have to be early. Like now there's nothing left to own, really. You have to like kill people to get all that stuff. But before, they had all the weapons and no internet, and so they could just go in and just be like, we have guns. And they'd be like, fuck, okay.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Ugh. So, funny enough, England does not have a fucking mermaid, specific mermaid thing.
Yeah.
Because they probably stole it from everyone else like they did everything.
Probably.
I'll forgive them, though. Only because of Tom Hardy and only because and only because of oh my god, those candy bars that I fucking love.
The whipped ones.
Oh, those are good too.
Those are alright.
Like lavender or something. Oh, now I'm ruining it. Oh my god, they're so good. They look like Dairy Milk bars, but they taste like heaven and lavender. Yeah, it's really weird.
Lavender, okay.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I'll try that. That sounds very pleasant. That sounds very delicate.
Chocolate bars. Here we go. And I know it's going to pop up and I'm going to be like, oh, duh.
It was bit of lavender. I just love how literal a lot of their stuff is.
Yeah, like that one was just called Chomp. It's called Chomp. Oh my gosh, maybe it's not even British. Maybe it's fucking Canadian. I bet it is Canadian.
That's possible, because Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my husband, I love him dearly. I would never be able to do anything. You know, I would never be able to really, like, date after he died or left me. I'd be so heartbroken. But he does take a great bit of joy in teaching me wrong things.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's a dick.
Just in case you ever try to date any subsequent Canadians, he's ruining it for you?
I think so. I think he thinks it's really hilarious to teach me things wrong on purpose and then watch me, like, embarrass myself.
Okay, so it might be that, or I'll do this all the time where, like, I will think that it's really funny to tell a person a thing that's incorrect, and then I'll forget that I said that.
Yeah, he does that.
And then later on, they'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's fucking so wrong. And they'll be like, you told me. And I'm like, yeah, don't listen to me. I was fucking with you.
That's exactly what he does. He does that all the time. Like, he has this jacket that he wears every Halloween, and it says, I can't fucking find it. I can't find it, but that's okay. It's not that important. It's probably wrong anyway. It says coroner on the back. And when I first met him, I was like, whoa, coroner, because he used to pick up dead bodies for a living. I was like, oh, did you get that from the coroner? He's like, yeah, it took forever to get the smell out of it. I had to hang it up in the basement. It was so gross. He said it with a straight fucking face, right? So like 5 years later, we're going through stuff, and I was like, dude, your coroner jacket survived. And he's like, what? I'm like, your special coroner jacket? He's like, dude, I got that on eBay for like $5. I was like, you're a fucking asshole. But he'll teach me how to say things in Canadian wrong on purpose because he thinks it's funny, and he probably taught me this candy bar wrong on purpose.
Things in Canadian?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's definitely Canadian vernacular that we argue about
I was
constantly.
like, do you mean French? Like, what are you...
So, what we call a garbage disposal, they insist on calling a garburator. I was really confused when our electric bill came in the mail because it said it was a hydro bill, which made me think it was a water bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he yelled at me that nobody in Canada pays for water, and I got really angry about that. I was like, why do you get free water and America has to pay for anything? And he's like, That's your fault, not mine. Because you talk to your people. What else? I mean, there was just shit that I picked up that I started saying, and I was like, no.
Why would hydro be power unless it's hydroelectric dams?
I think that's what it is. Because I asked him, I was like, why would you do that? And he was like, it's just what it's called. And I was like, what about water, sewer, garbage? He goes, we don't pay for any of those. I'm like, you don't even fucking pay for garbage? And then later we moved to America, and he was like, why are there so many bills? I was like, ha! Now you know what it's like.
All the same, we don't have to go through vehicle inspection once a year and like fix all of our shit.
And we don't have,
that's a racket.
Yeah, we don't have socialized insurance. Like car insurance, there's literally one company that does everyone's car insurance. And like when I say I need new tags and license plates, that means something totally different up there. They have little tags, but they're not registration. They're like for their insurance. It's really confusing. And I'm trying to remember, ICBC was what he had in BC because it was the insurance company of British Columbia. That was like the one place you went for all your car and health stuff. It was really weird. I don't know, Canada's weird. There's a bunch of other shit too. There's a singer, B.A. Johnston, and he's out of, oh come on, I know this. He's out of Ontario somewhere, and he writes a lot of like Canadian songs, and he's really funny and he's really good, but all of his songs are like Canadiana, for lack of a better word. And he always talks about like the dollar stores aren't called the dollar store up there. You know, it's just like little things, and it's Dollarama. You know,
so it's essentially you're living in like a Mandela effect universe.
100%, yes.
Like where everything's just slightly to the left. You go into your house and everything has been moved 1 centimeter to the left.
Exactly. You turn on HBO Canada and everything's there except for the one thing you want to watch that you know for a fact is an HBO series in America. Turns out it's a CBC series in fucking Canada. I was so upset.
Dude, it is Mandela effect territory.
It is. It is fucked. And everything there is so expensive and takes like 5 years longer to get there than in America. I love Canada. I love Canadians.
Like candy bars or what?
Everything.
Corn?
Candy bars, clothing, shoes, TV shows, special food. They didn't get food trucks until they were already not cool in Portland. And then my mother-in-law was like, we have a thing called a food truck. I'm like, oh my God. Those are so like passe here because there's one on every fucking corner. Like everything's like 5 years behind. And so when I met Dave, he was like, have you ever heard of that show? What's it called? Aqua Teen Hunger Force? I was like, dude, are you serious? He's like, we just got season 1. It's so good. I'm like, I have all the DVDs. That show is over. Like it's done.
Was he heartbroken?
He was heartbroken. And then he's like, what about Tim and Eric? I was like, oh, Tim and Eric, awesome job. Awesome show, great job. Yeah, that's over too. He's like, no.
That is so fucking crazy. So it's like they were living in the past. Yeah. Or we are their future. America's their... Watch out, Canada.
Yeah,
we're your future.
Yeah, the Cronuts.
Sorry.
They didn't get it until it was so overdone here. We were like, okay, we're done with it. You can have it. Like, they're our little brother getting our fucking old jeans with holes in the knees because we're done with them. They are
our little brother because they can still be on our parents' insurance.
Exactly. They like to call themselves America's Top Hat. No, I'm sorry. We call them America's Top Hat. Whew, I'm going to get shit for that. We call them America's Top Hat. They call themselves... What do they call themselves? Our friendly neighbors to the north. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's very sweet, but it's not America-centric enough. We need to be in the first part of that. You know, it's like, whose name came first, Megan or Erin? And like, you know, who came first, Canada or America? It's a fucking trip. They also don't have their own mermaid lore, but ancient Greece and Rome
I would expect Nova Scotia to have something. I don't know why.
Know, the Maritimes over there, I would have thought it too.
Yeah.
No. But they get everything from, like, the Queen, as Dave says. We're part of the Commonwealth, which apparently means they get to travel to other Commonwealth nations without needing a passport.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah, I was real jealous of that. Because it turns out I have to go get a new Oregon ID to get the special stamp on it so that I can fly domestically. Yeah, which is going to be
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't remember that until the plumber guy came to fix our leaking tub, and he was like, he was going off about it.
I'm thinking about when I have to renew my license, renewing it in Washington. So I currently have a Washington driver's license. I was thinking about renewing it in Washington because then I can get the thing where I can travel to Canada and Mexico.
Oh, yeah. They call I used to have
I don't know
that.
why they don't offer that in Oregon. Or maybe they're going to.
Because we're not a border state. They only give it to border states. And it's called an enhanced driver's license. Yeah. Because I had it when I lived in Washington.
And you can use it to get on, like, planes and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have in lieu of a passport. I don't know. That may have changed, though. It may have changed since COVID, but...
It's like... Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
And it was super inexpensive. I want to say it was like an extra $35 or something. And I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was so easy.
Fine.
I went and took a picture at the DMV in Hazeldale or something, and I was just like, cool. That was done and done.
Nice, dude.
It was cool. Excuse me. So getting back to this. So in ancient Greece and Rome, they had sirens and they had mermaids. So that bothers me a little bit because the two are not even remotely the same, even though they've become sort of smooshed together in later times. But in ancient Greece and Rome, their mermaids are more to what we know today. And I put, i.e. hot and withholding of sex holes. Many ancient Greek myths equate sirens with mermaids, but though they're similar now, they were historically very different, which I will tell you about later. One famous Greek tale said that Alexander the Great's sister, Thessaloniki, was transformed into a mermaid upon her death in 295 BC and lived in the Aegean Sea. And whenever a ship passed, she would ask the sailors, "Is King Alexander alive?" And if the sailors answered correctly, declaring, "He lives and reigns and conquers the world," then she would let him go. But anything else would piss her off, and she would just drown them right there. Now, why?
That's unfair.
Very unfair. One, why didn't she get to go to, like, wherever Zeus lived when she died? Not cool. They made her be a mermaid. And then she just drowned everyone because she was so pissed off.
Because her brother's dead.
Yeah.
He's been dead for, like, a long time, though. Do you think that she figured it out and she's okay with it now?
I hope so. I really hope after 8,000 years or whatever it's been that she can accept it.
Yeah.
So in Eastern Europe, they had the Rusalki, often translated as a mermaid. The Rusalki are water nymphs of Slavic mythology. At first, they thought that they were there to help with fertility and agriculture, and so they honored them. But in the 1800s, somebody was like, nope, they look weird. They're probably just the ghosts of women who've died by drowning. And everyone was like, yeah, that sounds good. So so now they lure men and children to their watery graves. And I put ... cause they're lonely, ?
Maybe. Is it like La Lorna?
Yeah, La Llorona, yeah.
La Llorona, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Where she just screams and cries because she drowned her baby. Might be. But it doesn't say who decided that they were suddenly going to be ghosts.
Probably Slavic guys.
Probably.
They were probably like, oh, I can't fuck them? They're ghosts.
Yeah. So I put, was it because they were lonely, or as vengeance, or some other scheme not thought through by a ghost, like when that poltergeist tried to pull Carol Ann through the TV, not realizing other people could follow? Mm-hmm. Sometimes ghosts just don't have enough, foresight to be able to think the plan through.
They have a surprising amount of heart for somebody who doesn't have blood.
Totally! Dude, that should be our new slogan.
We have a surprising amount of heart for somebody who doesn't have blood?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Beware vampires. We're a dry zone.
Yeah. Oh my God. So many slogans for shirt merch are popping up right now. That's amazing. So in Ireland, they have murrows, which female murrows with their smoking hot faces and long green hair are technically more traditional looking. But now this is a little bit of conjecture. The male murrows are considered gross, cruel, and more fish than man with weird little fish dicks. I picture them as being like, very like.
I think that they have serpentine dicks. They got snake dicks.
They might have snake dicks, which is better than fish dicks.
Just all foreskin.
So the male murrows have really aggressive sexual conquests, and that was the reason they were said to have been human murrow relations at all in Ireland. So basically they got all rapey with their serpentine dicks, and that's why humans and murrows, I don't assume
it sounds
that they
like
bred,
dolphins.
but they
I think that they're
humped.
thinking dolphins.
I think so too. Yeah.
Irish people are all part dolphin.
Oh my god.
I just solved it.
Cute.
That makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
I'm predominantly from that area, according to Ancestry.com, and I look kind of like a dolphin, so I could see it.
Well, it's mostly just like
and pasty.
The pasty and like the having a really nice voice.
My skin is shiny.
It is.
Yeah.
And you're very like...
I'm part dolphin. I'm very flowy.
You're very flowy
yeah,
and,
I have
and lean.
big eyes. I'm very smart.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that episode of The Boys where the Deep, who is like their version.
Everything about that guy is so cringe.
It's so
He
cringe.
reminds me so much of our first drummer. It is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
His entire personality, I'm like, oh, it's Dustin. Okay. I get all of this. I bet that he studies the blade and he is a little too into Venusian arts. He probably wears top hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Fucking guy.
Oh my god. Ugh. Okay. So if you want a really good book on Murrows, it's not a historically accurate book. It is a fantastic work of fiction by Jess Kidd, who's an Irish author, and it's called Things in Jars.
I've almost read that.
It's so fucking good. So it's got Bridie Devine, and she's like a female inspector in Ireland in the 1800s, and she's investigating the kidnapping of this little girl who is not quite a little girl. She's a little bitey for being a little girl. She's got a little bit of Murrow characteristics.
So far, everything you're describing me it's me as a kid.
It's so good.
Looking for little kid Megan. All
yes,
right.
Looking for little kid Megan.
I was really bitey, and my eyes were even bigger. I was more dolphin then than I am now, probably. I was very aquatic.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Check it out. Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. It's like a thriller, mystery, mermaid, phantasm. It's so good. And there's ghosts.
I think that I read something by them before.
Yes.
And it was real fucking good.
Yes. She's written quite a few.
It was also set in like Ireland or so.
Yeah, she's real good. She's written quite a few. Southeast Asia. Now, when I say Southeast Asia, I mean like Thailand, Cambodia, that area. They have... I'm going to give it a try. Suvanamaka, meaning golden fish. In the Ramayana, the country's retelling of the Indian epic poem, one of the heroes attempts to build a bridge of stones across the sea, but his plans are hampered by the Suvanamaka, who decides to fuck over his bridge building just for like no reason, just because they're like annoyed. But they meet and they fall in love, and she ends up helping him finish his path, and now mermaids are seen as good luck. Why she fell in love with him, don't know. Doesn't matter, I guess, but I'm a little like, that's too romantic for me.
Yeah.
Now
any romance is too much romance for me.
Totally.
I see an old episode of Dragnet, I'm like, keep it in your pants, guys.
Totally. So in Scotland and the Scottish Isles, they have the Selkie, which are more of a shape-shifting seal that can skinwalk as humans than a mermaid.
That's me.
Yeah, it's sounding very familiar. I know you have a lot of Scottish too. Scottish, Irish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely me. I'm definitely a shape-shifting seal.
Oh my god, amazing. We have to go swimming together. You've got to teach me things.
I am an amazing swimmer. See? That much is true.
I'm a moderately strong swimmer. I could use some tips. I could definitely use some tips.
Well, you got to be part seal and part dolphin. It helps.
I'm like islander. Does that? So maybe I'm part turtle. I am part turtle.
Dope.
Sea turtle. I'm very large, aggressive, and bitey, but also I like to float. Dude, I'm
amazing at floating.
Turtle.
That's like half of swimming is just being naturally buoyant.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like if you got too much muscle, you're gonna sink.
By the rock.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly. He probably has a really hard time swimming.
He probably
But like
does.
somebody like me, all I have to do is just not freak out and I'll just float.
Totally.
That is the actual only thing that I have to do to not die in water is just don't think about it and don't freak out, and I will float to safety or certain doom.
Either one.
Doesn't matter. Are there snacks?
Oh, you know what? I feel like either way there are snacks. Because if it's certain doom, then you get to die and have all the snacks.
Yeah, you know what? That's true.
If it's safety, they'll be like, you survived, have all the snacks. That's a win-win.
Anything's a snack if you're hungry enough.
That is true. I've been trying to convince my children of that. So in Gaelic stories, they are often described as, this is a very difficult Gaelic word for me. And even though I listen to a whole lot of Outlander, I can't do it.
It's a grab bag of letters.
Yeah, it is. There's literally
too many vowels.
Mahara, Mahagdan, Mahara, I don't know, meaning Maiden of the Sea. We're just going to skip right to Maiden of the Sea. So, Selkies, they like tempting people into the sea, choosing to stay in human form and starting a family, and TV shows from the 80s where the children are being raised by an unlikely guardian. I made that last part up.
Oh, I was like, I am your target demographic.
I'm thinking
Holy
like Mr.
shit.
Belvedere, a Full House, I'm just thinking like Who's the Boss?
Yes.
I figured they'd be into it.
Family
That
Ties.
last part was conjecture. Family Ties, yes. In Western Europe, they had the Melusine, a female spirit found in many medieval European folktales. She has a serpent or fish tail and sometimes wings. The most famous legend paints her as a willful child who tries to get revenge on her human father on behalf of her fairy mother, only to be punished by her mother by giving her a tail. There's some really intense, like, white Olander vibes.
Mom.
Yeah, like mother-daughter, like, fighting. I don't know. I feel like a really frustrated mom wrote that, because I probably would have too.
Oh my god, yeah, the weird shit that I'm saying to my kid now to stop him from doing shit that's gonna make him die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah.
I have to make up the weirdest lies.
Me too.
Now I understand why, like, 9/10 of my childhood just made no sense. It's my grandmother just yelling weird shit at me, like, don't put your head on that window. If you go into a car crash, you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably anyway.
Oh, yeah. I told DJ that if he continues to pull boogers out of his nose and then reinsert them into his nose, that he will die of booger poisoning. Because it was the grossest fucking thing I've ever seen. He would pick them, pull them out, look at them, and stuff them back up there. And I got so fed up. I was like, you're going to die. And he's like, I am. I was like, 100%. If you do that one more time, you're going to die of booger poisoning. I'm such an asshole.
Did he believe you?
He did. I heard him telling Wolfie that the other day. Don't put it back, you'll die. I was like, ha ha. Yes.
It's a lie that perpetuates itself. That's the thing. As long as you get your firstborn scared enough, they'll spread it to the others.
Oh, they will do so much damage on my behalf. I hear them all the time. Which leads us to our next bullet point, which is Siren or Mermaid. Here's how to tell the difference. So, if you watch What We Do in the Shadows, and if you watched it this season, there is a very accurate representation of the difference between a siren and a mermaid.
Oh, I haven't hit that episode.
Okay, so I won't spoil anything about the episode, but I will tell you that a siren is traditionally a half woman, half bird who is malicious and dangerous, attacking sailors.
Shit.
Yeah, attacking sailors after luring them in by singing like Adele. Hello. And then watching them crash into the shoreline and laughing as absolutely everyone drowns. I also imagine they like shitting on the sailors' heads because they're dicks.
Wow, I never knew that they were half bird.
Yeah, half bird.
That makes sense with the singing because birds sing too.
Yeah, more so than the mermaid, right? Yeah, totally. And that's why it pissed me off when it was like, ooh, sirens and mermaids. Oh, there's this show called Sirens. No, there's not. There's a show that should be called Mermaids. So now we get to Disney versus Hans Christian Andersen.
I was just going to ask if you had qualm with Disney because it's the singing mermaid.
Singing mermaid. Now, let's just acknowledge that Ariel's entire problem could have been solved by giving her a pencil. Yes, Ursula took her voice, but like give her a pencil and some paper. She could have written some shit down. She could have been like, Sea Witch took my voice.
Is she literate?
What are legs? I don't know, but she could have tried harder.
She could have become literate.
Yeah. So in the Disney version, we have Ariel falling in love with some land-dwelling dipshit with nice hair and giving up her voice in order to be with him.
All his teeth are the same size.
So Ursula, Ursula stole her voice, but the buxom, sexy, sassy Sea Witch meets her doom, and Ariel gets her voice back for doing literally nothing. Like just batting her eyelashes. And she gets to keep her fucking legs. ugh. I wrote ugh with several G's.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Don't like it. Hans Christian Andersen wrote a much more interesting version.
Yeah, my mom accidentally read that one to me when I was like 6.
Oh no, because this is terrible.
Yeah, where they like cut her feet off and she turns into sea foam or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a young mermaid has her tongue cut out. She gets, I wrote, negged on and dumped by a prince when he picks someone else, and eventually she dissolves into sea foam instead of saving her own life by ritualistically stabbing him in the face and bathing in his blood, like any sane person would have done to save themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, he's a fucking
You don't know
dick.
him, you don't know him shit.
No, sea foam, come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's not enough feminist. There are no feminist heroes in Mermaid lore. Not really.
Which is surprising.
You'd think it would be more female empowered, but
especially like coming from where a lot of like the legends come from.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good like princess and queen stuff out there, you'd imagine.
Totally. I even appreciated Frozen because it was like you need true love's kiss, and it ended up being sister to sister true love instead of, prince and princess, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, so did a lot of neckbeards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Oh, problematic. Oh boy, I need to go back and listen to your fave is problematic. So now we get to Mermaids, the Body Found, the fake docuseries, aka Fuck Your Couch. Now, if anybody remembers the Dave Chappelle show, and the Rick James stories, that's more what I'm referring to when I say fuck your couch. Because this movie came into my house in 2011, and it claimed that it was real, and it wiped its dirty boots all over my couch while screaming, fuck your couch! So fuck them. Thanks to these piece of shit movies, I use that quote unquote movies term because they're fake documentaries, it's almost impossible to be able to discern now what is legit mermaid evidence and what is that stupid fucking movie with its terrible graphics when you try to research mermaid footage. Because now 90% of the time, fucking things from that stupid ass movie come up instead of like the weird demonic looking half swim things that I am trying to find.
So what did it look like in that thing? I just remember it coming out or like hearing about that it was going to come out, but it was treated very seriously at the time.
It was like Blair Witch style. It was shown as like, this is document. So now it proposed that we evolved from, what do they call them? Sea apes or something? That monkeys like this.
Those look like fucking orcs.
Yeah, they do look like orcs. They're fucking terrifying. That they looked around. Yeah. They looked around and they were like, well, there's not much food here on land, which, bullshit. And they went to the sea and eventually evolved into the wide-eyed, sharp-toothed weirdos that we see in that fucking movie, which you can see on Discovery Plus or Animal Planet or wherever.
It looks like Ray Fiennes is playing a mermaid.
It totally does, with like the little snake slots for nose and like the weird pointy head. Oh, and okay, there are still tits on these, but they lack nipples, which annoys me. Because,
yeah, like why would they have tits?
Yeah, the apes didn't have tits. Tits evolved to milk, and they're not.
Yeah, why would they have secondary human sex characteristics and belly buttons?
And belly buttons.
Do they give live birth?
Belly buttons. They theorize that they do because they came from apes, but then they don't nurse their young. You can't pick and choose, motherfuckers. This is one of the most famous disinformations out there. No. I don't think dolphins eat. You know what? Let's find out. Do whales have nipples? They have retractable nipples that tuck inside the body when the baby is not feeding. Okay, I retract my previous statement, like they retract their nipples. But that's very interesting. They have evolved mammary slits, special folds of skin that close the feeding glands. Okay, well, I was just flat out wrong there. That's bad research on my part. Apologies.
Well, I mean, who's gonna fucking ask themselves if whales have nipples? Come on.
Smart people.
Or people who are...
Yeah. I mean, these are just... They're very clearly CGI.
Oh, it's super fucking fake.
And, like, that's just a dude in a bad Planet of the Apes mask.
Yeah.
With, like, some funk-ass teeth.
Orc teeth,
I bet they were leftover orc teeth from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was, like, pretty much somebody just went poking around in costumes and was like, this?
We found this in the back of the storage unit.
It wasn't a sober decision.
No, it was not.
Somebody was stoned as fuck.
They've got contacts. They have a gorilla type nose with a human mouth and regular human ears and orc teeth. The whole thing is very problematic. And so I hate it because now when you do a search for anything mermaid related, these fucking dipshits pop up. And I don't appreciate them muddying the waters with disinformation.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Rant over.
Man, that sucks.
Ugh. Okay, so mermaiding, the job you never knew existed. So this is when a hot lady with, I don't know, I'm going to say impressive swimming skills, dresses like a mermaid and puts on a water show for happy spectators. These are really popular in Florida.
I knew a guy who did that, and he was like a real life mermaid. He was so sweet.
Yeah, and they're amazing what they do. They are truly artists. They learn to swim in the skin tight tail, and much like the synchronized swimmers of old, they have to do flips and stuff, and they have to hold their breath for a really long time, and they do all of this in salt water, and so they have to swim with their eyes open. Apparently, it's incredibly painful to provide all of this enjoyment for us, but they do it because they love it, and it's very sweet.
Jesus Christ, why do they have to swim it? Why?
I know, that's what I asked,
Why would they do that?
And it's like, yeah, can't you have a freshwater tank? You really can't? I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of explanation on that. That may have been just like a few singular experiences. But everything I saw said that it was generally salt water. So.
Like glass bottom boat style?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that I can understand because you can't just desalinate it for a show.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, if it's a tank, like, wow, that's fucked up.
That's mean. Well, some people do. They put a big tank in their restaurant.
Yeah.
And then like they come in this one. I don't think Daryl Hannah was really in salt water. I mean, I think there has to be some kindness to it.
Oh my goodness.
So that brings us to our final topic, which is TikTok, a rabbit hole filled with glorious purpose and creepy footage. So my main source is, her name is @Phoebed, aka Phoebe Daniels. So if you just search for @PHEBED, you'll find her. She's a gorgeous Australian who does immaculate makeup and posts the most credible fucking creep-tastic footage. And she looks for answers to the questions, are mermaids real? She also talks about skinwalkers and lots of other things, but she just sort of fell into it and has connected with lots of other TikTokers who she's collaborated with to validate and debunk the footage that's sent to her, which is why I respect her. She's not just... Because if you search mermaids on TikTok, you'll find a lot of big boobied girls in bathing suits, and that's fine if that's what you want, but like if you want the scary mermaids like I was looking for, you go to Phoebe Daniels. She's got over 1.3 million followers, and she doesn't just specialize in mermaid footage. It's all kinds of cryptids, and she's so much fun to watch. It's not a waste of time even if you don't appreciate mermaids. So there's this fisherman that she is connected with, and his username is Sauce90, like sauce, like SAUCE. And what he is he's a deep sea fisherman who posted videos of him in the middle of the Bering Sea on a fishing boat, or maybe not the Bering Sea, he's somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere. And his first few videos, like he's just sort of chronicling like what it's like to be a fisherman out in the middle of the sea. Then there's him at night and he's out on the deck and he's like, oh, listen to the dolphins screaming. Yeah, it's not dolphins. And he knows it's not dolphins, but you're like, well, why didn't he just put mermaids? It becomes apparent the further down this rabbit hole you go.
That was so, like, you hear that sound, my highness? It's the screaming eels.
Yes, it's
Holy
very
shit.
screaming eels. And so he posted all these videos on his TikTok. They got deleted. And you're like, where did his account go? There there is corroborated evidence that his TikTok has been actively shut down by the government, which sounds fantastical, but it has been. So he is chronicling the screams of these quote unquote dolphins, right? And he's like laughing because people are like, dude, bro, those aren't dolphins. Those sound like sirens. He's like, yeah, no shit. I know they're mermaids, but I can't say mermaids because my shit will get deleted. And so he posts this video.
Why the fuck do they scream?
It is horrible. Okay.
Why are they screaming? Are they in salt water?
Yes. I think they're screaming to get his attention. They're calling out for help so that I don't know. I don't know if they're hungry. I don't know what the deal is, but it's a lot to take in, and I'm going to show Megan. And it's part of what you can find if you go to her page after this, because thank God she did a stitch with him, and she was able to screen capture this video, because you can't find it anymore because his page is gone. And it's not gone because he deleted it. Like, he does interviews and he's like, they fucking took my shit. They seized my evidence. So in his next video, you see a crab on deck, and he picks it up. He's like, oh, buddy, let's get you back in the ocean. He gently tosses it overboard, right? He steps back and he's doing like the typical TikTok thing where you can see behind him. And he's like, wow, that poor guy, I'm going to go ahead and send him back. Not even a minute later, it fucking whoosh comes flying back onto deck because something tossed it back to him. And when it lands, it smashes and dies, which is really sad. And I really don't like that part. But he's like, what the fuck? We're in the middle of the icy sea and something just tossed back the crab that I threw into the ocean to like be free. It is startling. So then you see him and he's like, I'm in the middle of the ocean, and I think somebody's government is doing these weird tests. They're like doing bomb testing or something because our radar is going crazy and there's these big explosions and things are getting dropped. And then he's arrested. His TikTok is erased. Like, he accidentally let out I think maybe some war secrets or something. And then you couldn't find where he was, what he did, nothing. You can't find anything except for on her TikTok where she has stitched with him and she was able to screen capture it, because this poor guy, he's like legit just a fisherman. And so,
you think the Russians have been training mermaids?
It's very possible. And it's kind of weird that a lot of this stuff that we see is like in Russian waters. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to start showing Megan these videos where it's people who have had what they think might be mermaids wash up from, the ocean and stuff. So we're going to get live reaction.
That one's got hair.
With this video, you've probably already seen it before, but in case you haven't.
It's just like sunning itself. It looks alien for sure.
It does.
It's got like a long giraffe neck.
Its neck is like at a weird angle. It's got very long, I'm going to say riffraff type hair. And it's like...
Yeah.
It's like clearly sunning itself where it thinks it's totally alone. Its face is like...
it's very alien.
It's got
alien. Ridges. Like...
So we're now seeing a dead, eviscerated body of something with very human webbed hands.
It's got like raccoon hands for sure.
Like long, crazy nails, translucent skin, middle eviscerated, but there's still a spine, and a tail. It looks like something that's been munched on. Okay, and this girl is poking this washed up corpse with a stick.
As one would.
As you do. But it's clearly been munched on and eviscerated, and she's looking at its weird human, like, almost webbed hands. It's unsettling. And a lot of it's like this. Like, it's far away, and you can't really see it.
I mean, would you get fucking closer?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I absolutely agree. Now, that's so funny because, like, me personally, if I saw some shit like that, I'd probably just be like, it's just a fucking person. Like, it wouldn't even register in my mind enough for me to even tell somebody later on. It's very likely that I've, like, seen everything and I'm just like, whatever.
Okay, now this is crazy. What is that?
That looks definitely fucking real, and it looks like a tiny little dragon, and it is the fucking best.
It is so cute.
It looks like a traditional, like, Chinese dragon, like in a tattoo, and I genuinely hope it's real.
I don't know. It's interesting. Let us know what you think. We're going to be posting stuff on our Insta and You can always email us at utterlyunrelatedpod@gmail.com. If you have some stuff you've seen, let us know. But yeah, that's our series on mermaids. I don't know. I think we could keep going with it. We could do a couple of deep dives. But for now, we'll cut it. Go watch some things.
We do have to mention, though, the mermaids from Cabin in the Woods. What are your thoughts?
I have not seen Cabin in the Woods. I want to see it. It's in my list. I'll watch it tonight. Okay.
Because that was the first thing that even to me introduced the possibility that mermaids in real life are fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah. See, for me, it was Harry Potter. The Harry Potter mermaids, which I don't know if you've seen all the Harry Potters, but okay.
No, I saw the first couple, and then I wasn't dating the guy who made me go see them anymore, so I didn't see any subsequent ones.
I can't blame you there.
Yeah.
No, totally. They're very shrieky and scary and bitey.
Terrifying.
Oh, looking. I can't wait. Now, okay, I have to watch it. I'll watch it tonight. So, yay. Thank you. That was fun. That was a fun deep dive. I think the only thing I have to promote is on November 27th, which is Wolfie's 4th birthday. My new book's coming out. It's called Mirrored Shadows. It'll be available on all platforms, and I'm going to push it so that you can find it. Yay! It's going to be so good. And yeah, join our Patreon.
We're getting stickers.
We're getting all our graphics all finalized. Also, yesterday, which this will come out on Thursday, so it's up now. We have the very first thing Megan and I ever worked on together was a short film that I wrote called Robot Love. It's up now on our Instagram. It's up on our YouTube. It'll be up on our Patreon soon. Go check it out. It's definitely, it was so much fun. She's amazing in it. Megan stars in it, and I wrote it and filmed it.
10 years ago, huh?
10 years ago now.
I think I was 25-ish.
She's that baby. But it's so good and it's so funny, and we won second place in a film contest with it.
In a film festival. Got Creep Show 2 on Laserdisc. I still have it.
Yeah, and join us next week. I'm sure that you'll be surprised by what we have for you. Da, 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 da.